Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for a very special video today. In today's video, I have an interview with Chris Cannella from Dean Guitars. I sat down with Chris and had a nice Skype call conversation and just a hangout essentially. And basically, I asked him all the questions that myself and a lot of people have been wondering about Dean Guitars. In this Skype conversation, you guys are going to be hearing about what Dean Guitars has been up to over the last 18 months. Chris and I talk about some potential new signature guitar models that'll be coming out, some new specs for some new models, the US custom shop, and so on and so on. But I did my very best to ask the questions, like I said, that we were all wondering, okay? So sit back, enjoy the phone conversation. It's a good video. I think you'll enjoy it. With that being said, let's get into it. Today I have the brand manager and director of artist relations for Dean Guitars, Mr. Chris Cannella. Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me today and spend some time.
Absolutely, man. Anything for you. You've been great.
I appreciate that, man. So, we were kind of talking off camera, but it's been a while since you and I have formally, spoken about, just life in general and Dean Guitars. So I feel as though we have a decent amount to cover today and just talk about, all the good things that's going on over, or I should say down where you're at, down in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, man. Sounds good.
So first question I have for you is just a general question about just you, man. How have you specifically been? How you doing?
You know what? I'm really good. It's, for lack of a better term, I just, we feel really good. I'm excited every day to get up. I like coming here. I like the team. Overall, I feel great. Health is good. Work is great. And, I've just been, now it's just time for me to everything that's been going on has been really awesome. And now I have time to get back and start maybe doing something musically again. Awesome, man. Yeah. And I can certainly attest to everything you said. I've been to your spot twice, and just I don't want to use the wrong adjective. I'll just say the camaraderie of, the Armadillo Enterprises, Dean Guitars, Luna D Drum. It's just the coolest people, man. So to hear that, you enjoy coming to work is no surprise to me, man. So that's just awesome to hear. That's still very much a thing, It is. It's even more so. And without exaggerating, there's a lot of changes over the last, since June of 22. And, through all those changes, the team that we have now, the executive team, which is Pam Rubinson, obviously, Elliot's wife, Darren Trent, who acts as an operations, and then Patrick Shoelight, Eric Stewart, and myself, we just have created, I don't know how to say this, it's a really nice bond. It's really positive. We get along great. Every time we meet in a room, there's always, even if no matter how hard of a topic we're dealing with, we're always laughing. We're always making fun out of it, making it fun. Right. And then on the floor, I spend about 30% of my day on the floor. I'm not sitting behind my desk all day. I'm meeting with the setup guys. I'm meeting with the USA wood shop, with the paint shop, with final assembly, with shipping, and we're all just. The mindset is really good. It's just a really positive vibe. That's awesome. Yeah. Speaking from experience, that checks out on my end 1,000%. So that's awesome, man. Before we get into, what's new over there, you just mentioned it. You're talking about potentially doing something musically. Anything that you want to share on that, or just touch on or talk about? Well, basically, one of my coworkers here, Jesse Jolly, and we are going to be joining up with Ronnie Palmer, who people may know him as the drummer from Malevolent Creation, but he's also the lead guitar player for Blood Messiah, and I would be the other lead guitar player in that. Maybe he's doing some backup vocals. But then I have another project that I've just finally got to just get off my lazy butt and finish. So it's just more like a solo thing. Right. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Because you had been on the road previously there for a bit, for quite heavily, and mm-hmm. to hear that, you're getting back in it, that's cool, man. I just got off the road, so I'm itching to get back, so I can assume, you probably have similar feelings in some regard. I sure do. I love touring, but I like doing it smart. I can't tour the way that I did when I was a teenager in my early to mid 20s, where you just go out for 2.5 months and whatever happens, and you go home to mom afterwards and try to, clean the dust off and go back out. Now it's, things are a little bit different now. You're I have responsibilities, I'm a brand manager, I'm a father, I'm a husband. So I like to go out, and if I tour, I like to do it in like 3-week intervals, the way that they did it with Deicide. They do it very smart, and they just go in, attack it, and get out. It's great.
Is that something you would recommend to like up and coming bands or younger bands that like it just like being on tour, like there's many facets of touring for it to make the most logistical sense? Is that something that you would recommend to just like be like call it how it is, be smart with finances and smart with routing and stuff like that?
Absolutely, all day long. I always recommend try to keep the tours very well thought out. Hit a market, snipe it, get home, make the money you can, figure out your profitability, analyze it, then do another one. Try to keep everything under 30 days. Yeah. I always 3 weeks is a good number. 21 to like 25 shows in a tour is a really good number. Like I said, Glenn and Steve taught me that really well, and they knock it out. You're long enough to make an impression and to get the media and to get a lot of tickets sold, but it's also short enough to where when you get back, you're not burning out on each other, or let alone over touring and spending more than you're making. Right.
Yeah. That's something from experience and just hearing like my peers or whoever. It's just like, especially in the younger crowd, it's just like, oh, I just want to tour, and it's like that's great, but you're gonna just go completely broke for little to no return at all. So
right.
And hearing that from somebody such as you who's been around for a long time and has experience and has done it, like that holds an insane amount of value. So I just appreciate you sharing that.
No worries. Thank you. I'm an open book. One thing I learned early on was that always share knowledge, always share information when you get it. I've had some great mentors. I've had some great people teach me the ropes on all sides of this, whether it be on the musical side, whether it be on the manufacturing side, whether it be, even in managerial side of things of the music industry. I've had a lot of great people show me around, and I also learned from some not so great people. So I learned from that as well.
Right. Absolutely, man. Well, yeah, again, man, I appreciate it. Moving on to like, talking about, the job that you've had for quite some time and that you've been really hitting hard, give or take a year and a half, so to speak, to, put a rough timeline on it. I would love for you to share whatever you can, what has been going on at Armadillo Enterprises, and specifically based on my audience, what's been going on with Dean Guitars, because we would all love to hear what's been going on.
Yeah. So, in all honesty, I'm going to be as transparent as I can. I'm not going to get into things that that don't involve me. Okay. Sure. Just being clear on that one. The business is fine. Okay. We're doing good.
Cool.
We have, basically we did a complete overhaul of the company. So, June of 22, when Pam came in, we had a complete overhaul of the company, and and that includes all brands, but really it was on the building and the people here. So there was a lot of, a lot of people that, that were, I've been around for a long time, who were very kind of discouraged, and they weren't as excited, to be around, to be coming in. They felt like things weren't moving forward. And what Pam did is that we all gathered around when she came in and said, well, let's do what we can right now. Let's get the people taken care of. Let's get the staff taken care of. And let's get this machine rolling again the way it should be. I never missed a day, because these guys here, deserve it, that they have the people that they work for and work with to be here every day, to be a good, strong, a leader for them, to keep them moving. So basically everybody in the company at some way or another got taken care of a little bit. So there was a lot of raises that happened, a lot of reorganization. We put people where they fit a little bit better, where they wanted to be, gave people a path of growth. We rewrote the handbooks, we did everything. So we've been really rebuilding the brands and the company as a whole. And with the brand is still, like with Dean Guitars specifically, it's still the same message that it is when I started here 6 years ago, and that is unapologetically independent and top-down marketing. Raise quality and not be in a race to be at the bottom. I'm not out to be the cheapest guitars out there. I'm out there to be solid, great guitars. And since everybody here is a musician, It really is truly the whole designed by musicians for musicians at every price point. Right. And that's the focus. And it's going to continue that way. And it still is that way. We've just been able to streamline it, get more products, even raise the bar a little bit more from what people have been asking for. You know, more stainless steel frets, more different types of pickups, glow in the dark side dots, more 24 frets, Floyd, non-Floyd. You know, really making these things performance pieces. And we have so much more coming out. If we were able to just stop and release everything we wanted to, it would be so overwhelming that everybody would be like, that's too many SKUs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be trickling stuff out. So it's no longer just going to be January, everything comes out. It's going to be throughout the year. We're going to be putting stuff out, you know, every couple of months, every 3 months. And we're going to be giving away guitars. We're going to be giving away guitars, prize packs. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff every month. So we've just been really refocused on going out there, and we just had that contest for the I don't know what the 0 F's given, for lack of a better term. I don't know if you bleep or not. But and that's just us saying, you know what, for all the naysayers, for all the crap talkers, you know, yeah. F off.
Oh, yeah, man.
We're still around, and we're doing it again. We're doing another contest here. We're going to launch any day for Vengeances, for the new Vengeance. So you'll be hearing about that and how you can win a Vengeance. We've just been, like I said, we're loud. We're going to be at NAMM again. We're going to be doing 2 office rooms. We're going to be releasing a lot of cool stuff. I actually, you know, we have 7 new artist models coming out in January alone.
Nice, man. Yeah, like that was gold, everything you just said. Like, that was a lot to unpack. And I'm, you know, very excited for all that. And I think a lot of people are as well. And, you know, the first thing that stuck out to me is, like you said, like we're catering towards a certain type of players that want, I don't know if it's the right word, but like modern specs, stainless steel frets, Evertunes, Fishmans. Like, that's something that I've noticed in the most recent things that we've seen that hasn't been released, is catering towards, you know, what I'm just going to say, like, the younger players or the modern players want, man. That's so huge, man. Like, that is so awesome to see.
Well, we need to. And, you know, the thing is, I'm, you know, for lack of a better term, I very much have my thumb on the pulse of metal at all times. I live it, you know, and I've been living it my whole life. And the thing is I love seeing the evolution of metal as well. And I'm seeing these new players out there that are just so proficient and so experimental and doing stuff. It's almost like 40 years ago all over again. And I want to be a part of that. The same way all the guitars back when the early 80s happened and they were, you know, changing with the times for the modern player. I want to be like that too. You know, of course, we're going to cater to the classics. We're always going to have our classic series. We're always going to have the core products, but we have to be able to keep moving forward with modern, you know, feature sets and performance feature sets for this new player. You know, and these new players are fantastic, and they deserve it.
Right. And what's interesting is, like, when you have like I'm just going to call Dean a legacy brand, and that's not like that's a compliment and a half. But like a lot of legacy brands, from my own naive experience, seem reluctant to want to change. Like, they'll change something, but they really don't, you know. But like Dean coming out with these, you know, affordable guitars with spec'd out, what I said all the time, like spec'd out to the max, like that is like that gets me so excited, because, you know, I know, myself included, a lot of players, like, they like stainless steel frets, for example. That's something I love. Like, that's almost like a staple now, like, and so, like, now that Dean Guitars has that and is incorporating that, and, you know, with the Fishmans and the Evertune and, you know, all the above, it was just such a cool move to see, and to hear you saying it today, that like the future is going to be doing, you know, just, again, speaking from what I've heard so far, doing more of that. Like, that's like, that gets me super excited, and I'm super happy for that to happen.
And we are. It's going in that direction completely. You know, like I said, we're going to have our core product, but we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep trying new things. I'm still doing a lot of R&D with other companies, you know, like different bridge companies and stuff, that I'm seeing some great product that I'm really excited to get out here soon. Whether it comes out in January or whether it comes out in March, we'll see. But really neat stuff, and that appeals to a lot of people. It's I get tired of guitar companies that get stuck in their laurels. And mostly it's because most guitar players, and this isn't an insult, but it is an insult in a way, they're antiquated. So like even the design of the guitar itself is still somewhat of a flawed design. It's really hard to move out of that. That's why people tried multi-scale, why people have tried different types of things to try to perfect the design. The certain core, some people, most guitar players, like I said, are still a little antiquated. They don't want to move in that direction. So we'll always combine, modern parts, modern feature sets with some of the, more classic designs and stuff like that. Try to keep a balance. But, unfortunately, I mean, like I said, the guitar itself is kind of a messed up thing when you think about it.
Right. Now, you said, are you specifically going to go to NAMM in January?
Oh, yeah. I'll be there.
I'm going for the first time ever, so I'll be sure to say hello. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you come and hang out, man, because it is for the first time you go, it is pretty overwhelming. I have been to, I've been going to, this will be, 27, 28 NAMMs. I don't know. I can't remember. But it's now it's at the point where you go because you kind of just gotta.
Right.
But it'll be fun. We're going to make it fun again. And, we always had that. We're going back to a little bit of rebellion, too. I want to keep that alive. We're not always politically correct, and we're not always going to be politically correct. Sometimes we may cuss a little too much. Sometimes, we are going to be a little bit louder, and that's okay because we can. We're not answering stockholders. We're answering to each other and answering to the people that want to be a part of this ride with us, who are like us, a little bit rebellious. This is rock and roll. This is metal. It's supposed to be rebellious. Right. Metal being safe is kind of gross.
You said it best, man. So speaking on that, you kind of said it, but just to kind of elaborate on it. So if you're allowed to, it's okay if you're not allowed to. When can we expect something new from Dean Guitars? Is NAMM the rough goal, or are we still not sure yet?
We're going to have a lot of new stuff at NAMM.
Okay, cool.
That is, we are going to have a killer array of the custom shop stuff. Like I said, we're going to have 7 new artist models that people haven't seen yet, and that's really cool. A few cool announcements as well, even on the D-drum side, but we are definitely releasing a good amount at NAMM and then every couple of months after.
Nice, man. Now, this could be beneficial for a lot, again, younger players, or just players that are looking to work with a company such as yourselves. What is something that either you or whoever's in charge looks for when trying to get an artist on board on the roster, whether it's a signature guitar or just an artist nonetheless? What is something that you value, that an artist brings to the table?
What I like, and it has to be genuine, because there was a time, especially in the 2000s, early 2000s, where signature models were handed out like candy across the industry, and everybody was jumping from brand to brand to brand to brand to brand, and it was really disingenuous. One of the things that I look for is I like to see people that are just a fan of the brand first. One thing that I love and I like talking with Kerry King is that he actually genuinely loves Dean's. He actually had his ML before Dime did, and that's a funny story that he can tell. He can go into it better than I can, and it's just a great story, and pictures of it. And so he just loves the brand in general, and he likes the independence of it. But then secondly, what I look for, besides being a fan of the brand, is to build a relationship. Is this personality going to be, because sometimes it doesn't matter how popular the person is, high maintenance and a bad personality isn't worth my energy. So I would rather have somebody that I can build a relationship with, work on stuff together, be involved. If it's a signature model, I want the artist involved. I don't want to talk to a manager. That is just lame. I want to talk to the artist and have him involved. And every new signature model that we have coming out was one-on-one, between the team, of course, with Dan Russell in the wood shop and Jeff over in the wood shop and Sharon in paint and even Andy in final assembly, but myself dealing with the artists and really going back and forth and throwing ideas around. Greg Trebet, wonderful guy, just absolutely great guy, loves to be on board, big supporter, always supplying content. He's always given great content for us. And, you know, you've probably seen a lot of them out there right now. You've seen notions of like Wayne Lozanak, who's from Hatebreed, who's out there flying the flag. I like somebody that you can be communicating with, somebody that wants to be on board for the long haul, not just to see if they can get a signature model and move on. Yeah.
Yeah, because especially how fast-paced everybody's attention span is with, you know, things like TikTok, Instagram, like I feel as though like there's like this misconception of like, oh, I posted a video with, you know, a Dean guitar, like I'm now, you know, now I'm ready to be an artist or have my own signature guitar. And I like what you're saying in the sense that like you're kind of like almost the antithesis of that, in the sense that, like you said, first thing you said was it's got to be genuine. You know, it has to be, you know, because people aren't stupid. You can see right through what, you know, people are trying to do. So like I value what you say in the sense that like it's gotta be, you know, you the artist truly love the brand that you're playing, and then from there that's when you take the next step up. You know? Yeah, that's awesome.
Totally. And, you know, I always recommend to people play. Here's the thing, this is gonna, you know, call it what you will, but I always tell everybody out there, play what you love. Play what you really love, because if you do that and you grow up and you just love it and you just, you know, you love playing that guitar all the time, then eventually you might be able to build a relationship with those people. Occasionally, sometimes it happens to where you do that and then the people on the other side may not have a good chemistry with each other. That's when you go find another brand.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Play what you love, because that way your hands will love you too. Your hands tell you what the best guitar in the world is. And everybody out there, there's great guitar companies everywhere. There's really no, you know, crappy quality guitar company. There's, you know, some companies that have some crappy ass attitudes, but I'm not going to go down that road right now. But you know,
right.
But it really is. Everybody makes a great guitar, and there's so many great people in the industry. You never know who you're going to work with. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of different chemistries.
For sure, man. Yeah, I appreciate, you know, your take on all that.
Cool.
Next thing, though, one of the final things, bullet points here that I had written down. I mean, this is very casual, kind of just going off the cuff here. But one thing that's really cool, especially when you get to Tampa, Florida, is the custom shop. If you could just say whatever, like if you could just elaborate on just how awesome it is, I would, you know, I love to hear about it because it's just so cool.
Well, I'm glad you say that, because, you know, I was just telling this story a few days ago. When I was first like being courted to come work here back in 2017, I didn't know how awesome of a custom shop Dean had. I really didn't know. It wasn't well spoke about. It wasn't well into the public eye. And it was kind of like a hidden little gem. So when I came out, I met Dan Russell. And I saw him and I was like, oh my God, this guy's like one of the greats. Like this guy's like, he's amazing. And his team, they're like, so like, you know, just, they loved him. And I saw the quality and I was like, wait, has it always been like this? And he's like, well, it's been like this for a little while, but you know, it's been kind of slow. And I'm like, oh no, this story's got to be told. It is a total independent vibe. And then now, you know, since 2021, we had Sharon come in with the paint booth. And that is now what we did is we got Jesse Jolly over in there, who's also, him and Dan were my first two friends at the company, who two of those guys literally are such good people. They're one of the reasons why I signed on board. I'm like, hand me a pen, I'm on, just because those guys were so great. And and Sharon's team now has evolved. So like Pat Baker, who is like a legend around here, he's actually gone into the paint world and helping out that department. And he's been really, really helpful. And Jesse Jolly's like the number two right with Sharon. And then they got, you know, Anthony's over there now. It's really vibing the production. They're all excited to come to work. They're all excited to paint guitars. They're all excited to build guitars. And then Andy Barnes over in Final Assembly, he has bloomed so much in the last 2 years to where he's completing more guitars in one day at a higher level of quality and efficiency than we've ever had in a day, period. He can get out a full month's worth of production by himself. And I'm so proud of his growth. And it's exciting to see these guys, how they just, like I said, they love coming to work, and they're just excited because they want to do better every month. Nobody's coming here resting on their damn laurels and just sitting around, smoking weed and just trying to get through the day. These guys are really working hard to make some of the most amazing American guitars in the business. It's great.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and all those names that you've just mentioned now, like I putting a face to those names, like and having my own knowledge of these people, and like I love Andy and like what he does, like his work, like people have probably seen it on Instagram. It is just like the cleanest, coolest looking like job ever, and like Pat's a legend, and everybody. So yeah, man, like I appreciate you just elaborating on that, because the custom shop is just so cool, man. Like just the quality of instruments is absolutely amazing. So yeah, like I was just saying, last thing I say, like we spent the first however long of us hanging out today, like talking about more or less the production side of things, but like the custom shop is just like it's 2 levels above next level. It's just so cool, dude.
It is cool, and here's how cool it is. Like I said, I was mentioning before, like when I got here, not a lot of people knew about it. Now, I'm not taking the credit by this for any means. We have a team of people that do this, and with me and Eric, we've been telling this story since I got here about how great the custom shop is. Now people are finally starting to pick up on it to the point where it's well over 2 years for you to get a USA made guitar.
Yeah.
And we're working on production and ways to become even more efficient, so we can bring that down to under 2 years right now. So it's crazy, but people are starting to really get it. Like, wow, it's worth the money. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's well worth the money. I took the imports across the world with Deicide. I took the USA Customs out on tour, and they're worth every penny of it. They are tough as nails, and they're roadworthy.
Yeah.
And take a look at the guys at Malevolent Creation. They're out there playing this stuff across the planet right now. There's so many great bands out there using the stuff and showing its durability, whether it be the imports or the custom shop. But the custom shop is really next level magic.
And it's cool, talking on your own experience, like what a cool way to do your like own R&D and marketing and whatever you want to call it, like going out on tour, playing the guitars and the brand that you work for. Like that is like, to me, that sounds like the dream, the dream gig, dude. Like that's the coolest thing, man.
That was a pretty amazing run there. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty.
Right on, man. So kind of wrapping up today, is there anything else that you want to either talk about or tell any of the fans, the audience, just like a final, kind of closing thing that you would want to end on?
Yeah, you know what? And I will. I'll just say this. Don't believe the headlines. There's a lot of people out there that just try to create hit pieces, because people out there now, there's so many people that just want to see people fail. These are miserable people. These people who are so miserable, all they want to do is see people fail so they have something to gossip about. Don't read the headline. We're an open book. If anybody wants to know something about us, contact us. Give me, I'll answer. Patrick will answer. Eric will answer. We're all here. We're having a good time. The rumor mill is definitely exaggerated. Yes, has there been legal stuff that's gone on? Yes, there has. Most of that is about ready to fade out behind us right now as we get into the new year. There's no animosities. There's no, for lack of a better term, there's no hatred between us and, some other musicians or whatever you may hear out there that people are trying to do. No, we get along with everybody. We're having a good time. Whatever is behind us is behind us.
Yeah.
And let's make that clear, behind us. If a lot of these things wouldn't have happened if this team was together 3 years ago. But, we went through it and we're killing it. Now we're doing good.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and it's a shame because, I see it a lot. I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but I see it a lot just because of what I do professionally. Like I'm on the internet and I'm in the know. Yeah. And it's such a shame, dude, because like you said, it's like people that are in the industry want the industry to fail somehow, somewhere. It's like you're like I don't even know how to wrap up that thought, but it's just like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. It's such a bummer, dude. And to hear that, everything's going good and 2023 is coming to a close on a high note for you guys, and 2024 is going to be awesome. Like I know the vast majority of everybody's super excited, and the loud minority of people who are negative, unfortunately, sometimes outweigh all that. But, you know, I think most people with, you know, a good head on their shoulders can see that, like, things will be fine and things are totally cool, man. So that's good, dude.
And the other thing I like to say to everybody out there, just remember, keyboard warriors generally are gruesome looking people who live in their grandparents' basement wearing a cape. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well said, man. I think it's.
They don't buy guitars, they don't buy concerts. Yeah. They can't get dates. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said, sir. I mean, that's checkmate on everything, man. Right on, dude. Well, hey, man, I just seriously before you know, it gets away from me, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to hang out and just being so cool as always, man. And it's good to see you, dude. And I look forward to see you in person again.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. And thanks for always being in our corner. You've always been very fair and honest, even with the product reviews. You know, we've learned a lot because, you know, we always take input from everybody else. Thanks for all that you've done for us. And, you know, I can't wait to hang out again as well.
Right on, man. All right, dude. Well, hey, with that, everybody, thank you so much for watching. And be on the lookout for what Dean Guitars has to offer, as well as D-Drum and Luna in the new year, man. So thanks again, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.